Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to episode 97 of Draft Offsides. I'm with Vincenzo. My name is Keefe. We're getting close to 100, guys.
Getting close to 100. We might be during the draft order party.
Yeah, probably will be.
That'll be pretty cool.
It will be. We have an exciting episode today. We're gonna just go through every single team. This is gonna be a lot of information. We're gonna try and get through it quick, and so we're not gonna try and bog you down too much. I think we're taking a little bit of a different approach than a lot of people when they go through teams. I think we're not going to talk about like the star players. We just really want to we kind of went through the teams and like the questions we had so we could like work through them together, do a little group project and not so much focus on like that Bruno Fernandes is awfully good. We don't really want to do that.
Yeah, be a little bit obvious.
Yeah, so trying to skip over that stuff. But okay, first thing, news and notes. Probably the biggest piece of news from the last week is Chelsea winning the Club World Cup, beating PSG.
Oh yeah, big news.
It was pretty impressive. And
I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's pretty impressive.
Didn't expect it, and like the tactics and Maresca's tactics actually worked out. Was it that, or was it that PSG just didn't have Pacho? I don't know.
You can't put it down that not having one of the center backs.
But that's what I heard. That's the excuse I keep hearing from everybody.
Whatever. It's a made up tournament. It's stupid. No one cares.
It's not a made up. It's gonna be a huge tournament. Yeah. This was the first time it happened, and it's gonna be huge.
I do think it's gonna be huge, and it's gonna be. I know that the fact that they're gonna wear that stupid patch for 4 years.
Champions of the world, 4 years. That's pretty awesome.
And let's give credit to our friend Derek, who sucks at fantasy. This guy has no idea what he's doing. But he called that Chelsea was going to surprise people that they were going to win.
Yeah, you can be right every once in a while, I guess.
Broken clock's right twice a day.
We're waiting for Enzo to be right.
You know what I will say is I've been a Chelsea fan for a long time, and winning 2 Champions League, both of which were like we did not really deserve to win. We hung on by the skin of our teeth and scored a goal and defended. Winning a final in this way was such an enjoyable experience. Obviously winning the Champions League the first time, unbelievable. Second time, amazing. Such a shock. But this was so much fun to actually really play well and kind of dominate a team that's where you were the underdog. It was so cool. Such a cool experience.
It was good, man. Like I said, Chelsea played really well. Palmer just did wherever he wanted. He shows up in finals.
Tico, what were you saying? Tico just gave me a little bit of a tidbit on his draft strategy. Say it again.
So I have Cole Palmer going number 1 overall. If I have the first overall pick, I'm going with Cole Palmer for a couple of reasons. The past, I think, this is his 3rd year.
Mm-hmm. Third year.
So with Saka, the numbers have been pretty similar, and that's with Cole Palmer falling off last year. On top of that, Arsenal's going to get more weapons, so I don't think Saka's going to be the machine that was playing every single game, every single minute. And also, to me, whenever it's kind of close to 2 players that I want to draft between, it's essentially coin flip, I draft the player I enjoy watching more.
Yeah, I like that. But the only thing I disagree with, I don't think Saka's not going to play less. Let's be honest here.
I mean, I think that's partially why they brought in Noni Madueke, right?
Yeah,
so they can take a little bit of the load off of Saka.
Maybe, but I don't. It's Saka. He's been
still going to play a lot. I don't think it's yeah. But I think Tico's point, maybe he comes off in the 80th minute some games. Maybe,
and short weeks he doesn't play because let's be honest, him being hurt was huge for them. It was a huge blow. And with the depth they have, and with also if you look at all the other teams, that are going to be competing for the EPL, all of them have a lot of depth and they're going to have a rotation. So if you're going to put Saka out there for 37 games, 36 games, playing the whole 90, I don't think that's sustainable, especially with the FA Cup, the Champions League, all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I hear you.
Like it. I have Palmer 2 right now. I think Enzo, you have him 3. I think maybe.
I do. I think I do. I have. I still have Salah in there, as number 2, and I think I have Saka number 1. So
yeah. Okay, cool. That was fun. I'm really happy that Chelsea won. That was really exciting. It's been a really fun last 24 hours. Other than that, we are officially in silly season. It just seems like the transfers are getting wacky and wild, and things are crazy. There were rumors today that that Newcastle made a bid for Ekitike in the 80 million range, 70, 80 million range. Wild. I don't think we're trying to wrap our head around how that team fits together. I don't even know if it really does. There's also rumors that Isak might be going somewhere, potentially Liverpool, which seems a little far-fetched, but you never know. I saw some guy talking about how Ekitike, he thinks Ekitike could play in a 10. So he'd play like kind of behind the striker, which is interesting. But
it's interesting. That could actually work. I think I threw that in the chat room that because if you take anyone out of that midfield three, you take out Joe Linton because Bruno G's does what he does, and then Tonali, you're not going to take him out as a defensive midfielder. So, and that gives him a little bit more creativity in that midfield. He did have 8 assists last season, so he is capable.
Yeah, I think it's a good shot. Also, it's like Bruno or Darlington's not getting any younger. He's not like he's like this so it makes sense to get a young, exciting player in there.
Was he 23?
Ekitike?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Gyökeres talks. They seem like they're still ongoing. This has been an ongoing thing, but it seems like now there's some real headway being made, and it's just a matter of time. It sounds like for Arsenal.
Yeah, it looks like it. Still, like I've always said, I don't believe it till they sign their name on a dotted line. You know, things can still go pear-shaped from here for Arsenal. It wouldn't surprise me.
Don't believe until the Fabrizio sings.
Exactly. And he keeps saying, here we go soon. Soon. He said that like 3 times already. So it just lets me further know that they're not near the end yet.
Yeah. The other bit of transfer news, Simon Adingra to Sunderland. I think we all like that as a conceptually. I'm just struggling with where his ADP is already. In the 6th round feels a little. It's interesting to me. I think people. He can very likely return that value, but I was just hoping he'd fly under the radar a little more. But I think people are wise to it.
I think it's a good value pick, but even 6th round, just because he will be the talisman of that team. You assume he will be.
Yeah.
But 6th round seems a little bit too high still, because of the team he went to.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And then the only other little note is just like I think that what the Draft Society guys were saying is just as these new players are coming in, there's going to be like a little bit of an influx of forwards coming through, and so that'll help with the scarcity of the forward position. So hopefully that makes drafts a little more balanced.
Yeah, you really see it. Like you wait in TK, if Gyökeres comes through, and I don't think that's going to be the last of it. I think, like you said, Liverpool are going to be looking for a striker, I believe. Villa, will they go for another striker to go along with Watkins? Because that's all they got. They got nobody else.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think Villa definitely needs to sign some players if they have any hopes, ambitions.
Man United needs a striker, but they might be getting Nico Jackson, so we'll keep someone in there.
I saw Mateta's name floating around for United too.
Vlahovic,
or how do you say that guy's name?
Vlahovic, isn't he going to?
Yeah, I heard that he rejected United. I heard he didn't want to go to United.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to go there right now.
Tico, any comments?
I was trying to think what other team can Nico Jackson go for them to be an upgrade at the striker position, and it's sad that it's only like a handful of teams that United.
God, I hope he goes to United and proves you wrong. You're gonna have to root for him. I just hope that. Now I hope that happens.
He's not proving anyone wrong, Keefe. It's
okay.
I hope so too, Keefe. I'm right there with you.
Let's get into this. So, okay, do you want to say something, Tico?
I was going to say we need him to go to Chelsea. It will just be another player that they. I'm sorry, need him to go to Arsenal. So it'd be another player that Chelsea dumps off to Arsenal for like
that
80
would also
million.
be funny.
That would be funny.
I'm essentially here for the laughs at Nico Jackson at this point.
As long as it goes to a Barcegians team, it'd be fine.
Oh my God!
All right, let's go through this. We're going to start with Arsenal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and we can look at their team from an ADP perspective. This might suck for you, Enzo, on your setup.
Might suck. It might suck for me.
All right, you guys can see it?
Nope. Oh wait, there we go. It's tiny.
So I think the biggest things here. I mean, I think the number one talking point is Noni joining, which obviously doesn't show up here, so this is kind of defeats the point. But
yeah,
his I think the biggest issue with Noni coming is I think Martinelli downgrades.
I've heard. I initially thought that too, but then you really think about it. We know he's played on the left before, but from what I'm hearing, and maybe I've listened to too many Arsenal fans, but they don't think that he can play on the left for Arsenal, and that Martinelli holds that spot, which worries me.
But I just think there's created this level of uncertainty. Noni played left, like on the left for England. It's not like a thing that he just did for Chelsea because they were short players. Yeah. It was like it's like a viable position for him. So I don't know. I think that it downgrades. I actually think Noni kind of gets downgraded because I think there was a chance for him to really play more on the right at Chelsea. Take Pedro Neto's spot. But now it just feels like now it feels like I think Noni's downgraded, and I think Martinelli gets somewhat downgraded. Maybe not like total drop off, but just from now there's uncertainty there.
Yeah.
So Noni's ADP I went to Chelsea to check it out. It's 85. Obviously, the ADP is kind of inaccurate, but to me, Martinelli being 50, that's very, very high. Even if Noni wasn't there, I think Martinelli 50, it's kind of.
I think people have reacted already. I think that Martinelli's like baked in. You know,
it's kind of crazy looking at it. Outside of the top three, Saka, Odegaard, and Rice, Arsenal don't have any lucrative fantasy players, which is kind of weird for a team that's possibly going to fight for the title.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you could see that as two ways. Maybe there's some players that are undervalued in this team. Like I look at maybe some of their defenders and think that they can probably do a little more. And yeah, I mean, it is tricky though. I mean, when you look at it, like when Yari, does he have any value other than as like a Odegaard, Saka? If one of them goes down, I think there's almost no value in him. Right?
And it's funny because you're looking at Nwari. Unless he goes to Chelsea, then he really loses value. But yeah, I don't think there's any value in Nwari. Trossard shouldn't even be in there. I think he's going to Fenerbahce. So they're actually going to be pretty thin.
I mean, you have to say though, like if the Gyökeres does come, you think he goes late first, early second, right?
I think he goes second.
I don't think he goes first. I don't even think he goes early in the second. I think he goes late second, early third.
Really?
That's how I feel. Just because he's a new player, he did it in Portugal, new team. Unless he gets a really good start, which is really tough, especially playing in the Premier League. I've said it before; it's a tougher league. He's not going to have as much time as he did in Portugal. So I just don't know if he's going. It's a risk.
Would you rather take Semenyo or Gyökeres?
Easy Semenyo.
Easy. And I'd rather take Ollie Watkins over Gyökeres too. So
that's why.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the line. I think that's what we talked about, Joe, in that episode. I think that's kind of the line for me, is like that right around that Ollie Watkins area.
Like, why do you think that's wild, Tico? I'm curious. I'm not trying to like do a dig. I'm just curious. Like, what's wild about that?
So, to me, you're essentially the player he's going to be replacing is Kai Havertz. When we look at Kai Havertz the way he started last year, he was off to a great start. Gyökeres, you would assume he's better because Havertz in itself is not that great of a player, at least in my opinion, as a finisher.
He's a good player, but he's not a finisher. Okay.
So, factoring in that he is going to be the striker, he's going to be their main point of attack, I would assume I'd rather gamble on him than take Watkins, who's to me is also a gamble. Even Semenyo, like, what do we expect Semenyo to do? He had 11 goals last year. Are we expecting him to go 15 to 20 goals?
Probably close to what he did last year, right? That'd be the best case scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, which to me, because right now his ADP is 12th. To me, that's really not a sexy player to take at 12th. Whereas if you take Gyökeres and he does have a breakout year, you're actually getting good value for where you're taking him. Whereas Semenyo, his upside is, to me, it's not that
I
amazing.
think for me, it's like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. I think with Semenyo, it's like, yeah, it's not sexy, but you know what you're getting, and you're going to get that like really good baseline. With Gyökeres, as much as I think he'll probably do fine and like have a solid season, I think there's a lot of things, like when I went and looked back at some of his highlights and stuff, and a lot of the way he plays, it's just, I don't know how conducive it is to the Premier League. And so I think, I'm not like being like, I'm not like trying to shit on him. I really like don't know. I'm not claiming to know that he's going to be a flop or anything. I just like think that there's potential for him to really struggle or have an adjustment period. And so I'd rather play it safer. But Tico, I get your point. Like if you're going to like play to win, right? That's kind of your take, right? Like you're playing to win, but get drafted.
Go big or go home.
Watkins. Yeah, go big or go home. I get it. Odegaard ADP is 25. He's 18 in our rankings. What are we hot? Are we hotter on Odegaard than most people? It seems like we are hotter than most people. Do we like that though?
Where did I have Odegaard? Did I have him around there?
I think you might be the lowest of us. You have him at 25, but me and Tico have him earlier.
So yeah, I'm not too hot on Odegaard. He's been on a decline, and with the likes of Eze might be going. If Eze goes, it just really it takes him out of the picture. I know he's the captain and everything, but I think he'll lose some game time.
I think that part of he was on a decline because he got injured. When he came back, Saka was injured. I think that's where his decline came from, because when they were both back at the end of last season, he was pretty good. So, if you look at how he ended the season. So I don't want to claim it as a client, but
I think he also started the season injured, which is kind of hard to get back into the flow of it.
Yeah. All right, are we ready to move on to the next team?
Next team?
Yes.
Drop it down, baby. Aston Villa, and we are talking about a very sparse fantasy asset team, which is surprising to me. I think there's only like 5 or 6 players that even are showing up with ADP.
2 of them on the same position.
Okay, so what to talk about here? So I thought that honestly, like, we don't really talk about Ollie Watkins. I think there's enough there. ADP 20. I think we're a little higher on him, but Morgan Rogers, I think we've all kind of feel like is a little bit, could potentially be a trap player just based on his numbers. Maybe don't quite line up with his like profile, like he's maybe a more popular player than his numbers suggest. The interesting thing to me is that seeing Ian Maatsen go ahead of Lucas Digne. Like, is that surprising to you guys?
Well, didn't he start? He started ahead of him near the end of the season, didn't he?
Not really.
No,
not really. I mean, it was maybe they were like a little bit of a timeshare, but you just think that like another year, Lucas Digne is another year older. Is that? I mean, that's the only way I can really look at this.
So
right?
I think Ian Maatsen is going to have the year you thought he was going to have last year.
You do. So you're high on him?
I am high on him. I think he will be the starter towards. As someone had Lucas Digne last year towards the end, I did feel Maatsen was getting more of the starts, especially towards the end with the Champions League. And I also saw there's some transfer rumors of Lucas Digne transferring out. So if that happens, that kind of solidifies obviously Ian Maatsen. But last year I picked up Digne off the waivers. This year I might even draft Ian Maatsen if I get value, because I do believe he will be the starter.
What's Maatsen's ADP?
Maatsen's ADP is 105 and Digne's is like 130.
Not bad.
So I also feel like at those ADPs, you wouldn't be that bummed about drafting both and like handcuffing that position too.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking that your 11th pick or your 11th round pick and you're like 13th round pick, you know what I mean?
But would you want to handcuff a defender position?
I think it's fine if it's like an attacking left back on I don't know. I don't have an issue with it.
So my opinion is on this, you don't have to handicap both of them, because I don't think Digne might even get drafted. And I think he will be available on the waivers. Yeah. Plus, I do believe that I mentioned this before in previous episodes. I think Villa's trajectory is going downward. So I wouldn't even be surprised if not a lot of their players get drafted and people would want to stay away from their defenders.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at case in point, only 6 players with an ADP.
Yep.
All right, next team. Let's talk Bournemouth. We're just talking about Semenyo. We don't really need to talk much about that. I kind of wanted to talk about Tamburrini and Kluivert, because we have them swapped in our rankings essentially. And I started digging a little bit, and Kluivert has better numbers of service level, but when you really look, those numbers are so driven by a few huge games. And when you really dig into it, like Kluivert or Tamburrini has like a much more consistent player. So I actually went ahead and swapped them in my rankings personally.
No, I agree, because he had those 2 games where he had a hat trick. One of those hat tricks being all penalties. Can he replicate it? I don't know. Yeah, I think we might have actually been swindled into seeing those points and thinking that he was better than Tavers. But yeah, I think you might be right. I think I might have to switch Tavers and Kluivert on my rankings too.
He only had 8 double-digit scoring games out of the 29 he started for the whole year, and he started.
But
2 of those games, it was like 44 points and 40 points.
Yeah.
So take those out. And he's a frustrating player. He doesn't get the starts all the time, and whenever he does, he doesn't always play the 90 minutes as well. Tamburrini, to me, it's a little bit more consistent.
Totally agree. What do you guys think about Evan Nielsen? He's kind of sitting in that like 60th ADP spot. Kind of that's when forwards really start to dry out. I think there's something interesting there. Do you guys have are you guys any sort of like of him, or just not your type of player? Because he is so goal dependent.
He's very goal dependent. If he's there and I need a striker, it all depends on where we stand in the draft and what positions you already picked up. In the 7th round, you're not looking at defenders. You're probably looking at depth for your midfield, if anything, because you can have more midfielders at that point. But it all depends on what you've drafted in the earlier rounds.
I think he's a good forward 3 option or forward 4, depending if you go forward heavy in the top of the draft. But again, he is kind of inconsistent. And to me, the 7th round, Keefe, I think we talked about this before. That's when I personally like to take chances on players that might have like a breakout year. And Evan Nilsson, I think he is what he is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a pretty solid year. Now it's with an injury and adjusting to the league, so there is room for him to grow. But I hear you. What about Truffert, Adrian Truffert? We've been talking about, like, obviously Kirk is leaving. He's the Kirk as replacement, going 120. I think that represents some potential value. That's kind of to your point, Tico. That's a player that could have some pretty big upside.
So he's coming from the French league.
Yeah.
It could be potential over there. For defenders, I like wing backs instead of the center backs. They generally produce more points. So he's someone that you could possibly look to gamble on. Because just defenders, I go with the tactic of having a rotation. So I think he's one of the players that I would possibly look at towards the end of the draft.
Nice. Let's go to Brentford.
Boy,
this is kind of a headache team. A lot of question marks around the team. What's going on? Do we believe in Wissa anymore? Are we? I feel like people are kind of cooling a little bit on what he did last year. Like, do you think he's going to get 15 plus goals this season?
well, if he's maybe at Brentford, maybe, because he'll be the main focus, and you still got Damsgaard there. Even though I think he only had like how many goals, and I think he had like 8 assists. I think I might be wrong. But his
Damsgaard had 10 assists.
10 assists. He can produce and he can set up, but he's going to have one less target. If that's assuming Brian Mbumbo actually goes to United, which it looks like it's going, but it's another one that's just like Arsenal's Gyökeres fucking shit, which is taking forever to do.
Yeah.
But Wissa, if he goes to Tottenham, I believe in him.
Yeah, I don't see a world where both. Wait, I think they've talked about, like, there's no world where Mbeumo and Wissa both leave. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Another thing I found interesting was Nathan Collins dropping all the way to 65.2. I know Sergey is a huge fan of his. I think he was a top 20 player, maybe even top 15 player last year.
Like defender wise or all around?
I think overall, like, I think he was like up there. Maybe not top 50, maybe top 20, but he was like a peak player last year. What do you think that represents value in the 6 like that?
We like Collins. I know he had a good season. Didn't he have like a couple goals and several assists? Like, will he do that again?
But like, yeah, he had a lot of assists. But even without those assists, he still had a pretty good year. You know.
So he had 2 goals and 3 assists, but as a team, they had 8 clean sheets, which for them is pretty good.
What stats are you looking at though, Tico?
For what?
You're looking at 24-25. So he had 3 official assists, but I think he had a few other assists that were like fantasy assists, and I'm not sure.
I'm looking at off of the fantrax.
Yeah, but like you're looking at the stats tab as opposed to if you go to his actual the games fantasy.
Got it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. So I think that to me, but I think even in the 6th round, I think you're that's baked in that he's not getting 7 assists, you know.
And it's a new manager, right?
Yeah.
He was a free kick coach, if I'm correct.
You are correct.
So we can only assume he's going to carry on where Thomas Frank left off, or is he going to bring in his own philosophy? I have no fucking clue about this guy.
So I also like Nathan Collins, and I was just going through his game log. Something that's kind of surprising and impressive. No games with negative points.
Really?
Hey, yeah. And so you're talking 7th round. I think that's pretty good. I don't know. I think he represents value where he's going for an ADP for all the things we've talked about. Igor Thiago, I've never seen him play. Know virtually nothing about him, but like I feel like Brentford just doesn't miss on players. Yeah. So and they were really excited about him. They paid a lot of money for him, and then he had a bad injury. Are you like a trust Brentford? Do you guys feel that way with their player section, or is it just?
I mean,
no.
I drafted him last year, forgetting that he was injured.
I think Kelleher's more interesting than Thiago, to be honest.
Kelleher is a late round. What about Coyote? Had a great end of last season, going like 9.2-ish. What is he actually going in here? Coyote, he's down to 8. He's dropping down to 8.74 or 87.4. It's really strong end of the season, but it's just a new coach. It's so hard to know with all these players, right? That's the whole idea with Brentford. I think in general with Brentford, there's just such a feeling of like uncertainty, right?
Yeah, and if, like you said, we don't know who's leaving, but you just take out either Mbembo or Wisser out of this team, look at the lineup they have left.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good.
It's a little different, yeah. Okay, moving on, Brighton.
Eesh.
I think, we're talking about uncertainty with Brentford as far as like what the team's going to look like and stuff. I think uncertainty with Brighton as far as like who's going to play and what the rotation is. Because I think after Matoma and then like maybe you can make the argument that Minta too, like, they're going to get a lot of playing time, but after that, it's just anyone's guess what's going to happen. I do think the next three guys are interesting with Rutter, Weaver, and Estupiñán going 94, 106, 108-ish areas. I think those are interesting guys, like for where they're going, for how late they're going. I think I'm willing to kind of spin the wheel with them in those spots.
It's all sleepers, isn't it? Like you're hoping that they're sleeping giants and they can actually get some starts at this Brighton team and actually show up some numbers, because they've all shown they can put up numbers, but they haven't shown that they can start week in, week out.
But no one's starting week in, week out for them. So it's not like a matter of locking on position. It's a matter of rotation,
Mm-hmm.
Is Welbeck? I think Welbeck's kind of valued at 142.6. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Wouldn't be your third striker? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like striker 3. That's like striker 4 territory for a guy who, how many goals did he have in the first half of the season? I mean, he had a great start to the season.
He had a great start and then just fell off the cliff and disappeared.
The cliff of age.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip Burnley and just do all the promoted teams at the end. We're gonna go Chelsea. What do you guys think here? I think Madueke leaving, I think the biggest takeaway is that really boosts Pedro Neto to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a huge boost for him. I think the striker situation is a headache, but it's clearly starting to feel like João Pedro. It's going to be hard not to see him as the guy, right?
Yeah, even though when Liam Delap coming off the bench isn't fucking bad either. He looks so good when he comes on. But yeah, I think João Pedro's starting guy.
It's going to be interesting for Estevao. That's the one that I'm kind of... it's in the dark. We don't know if he's going to start, how many minutes he's going to get, and how he's going to play. Obviously new to the league, and it's such a young age as well. But I mean, Cole Palmer in the final, he played off the right wing, and he was pretty amazing. So kind of opened up more questions. It's going to be interesting to see if he gets playing time or not. But that's someone that I'll be taking my gamble rounds, just because I think the Chelsea offense is going to be electric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like it. I think the issue with an Estevao is, to go exactly your point, I think Neto there, and I also think that there will be games like Cole Palmer plays, and I just don't know. And I think that Maresca is going to kind of really ease him in. And so I have a very strong feeling that even if you do draft him, you have to be really patient and not expect much in the first few months, even maybe, if at all.
And then the other thing that kind of changed my mind from the Club World Cup is Enzo Fernandez. I didn't have him ranked that high just because I didn't think he could replicate the year he had last year, especially like after he broke up with his wife. But he seemed to still play amazing. So he's someone I personally don't like him. So I was just kind of staying away from him. But at this point, like, it's undeniable the value he's going to have fantasy wise.
I fully agree with that. Yeah, I'm kind of there. I'm kind of, the other one interesting is Cucurella. I think Enzo, you and I have him kind of higher. I think he's going 103. I think we have him in like the 80s.
Really? Do I?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, probably.
So that's interesting. It's interesting. So like in the end of last season, he was kind of playing as like that extra attacker that was being released, but all through the Club World Cup, he was the extra center back, which I think there's not as much value in that. So, and I also think that's just very much a tactical thing. So I think it very much just depends on like how Maresca wants to set up and who's going to be on the field. But I think there's any given week, either of them can happen. When we talked with Joe, we talked a little bit about like Malagusto and his role. And I feel like what Enzo Maresca really did the last few games of the tournament was he really figured out how to utilize the best of him. And it's not inverting him to the center. It's letting him kind of run down the wing and be that extra attacker. So if anything, I think that might hurt Cucurella a little bit. And I think it'll help Gusto, obviously, but I also think that I don't know if Gusto is going to be doing that every single game too. So
All right, and then let's talk
more
about another
headaches.
defender. Yeah, but let's talk about another defender you guys have that you got playing in the centre midfield with Reece James.
Yeah,
like that. That's interesting. Perfectly honest, from a fantasy standpoint, if he can play in that role a little bit more,
especially if he gets kept as a defender, which
mm-hmm.
seems like he is, and he plays in that role, it's going to be pretty amazing value until he gets injured week 5.
What'd you say?
His ADP?
I said until he gets injured week 5.
I know that's the issue with him. Even in that, even in the final, it looked like he got injured. His ADP is 108, 100.8 right now.
That's pretty good value, perfectly honest. And you think someone might reach for him maybe a round or two earlier? I doubt it.
I mean, if he's there in the 10th and the 11th, maybe I'm interested. But I think the injury thing is just so concerning.
Wait, are you worried about his hamstrings or?
I mean, he had to get subbed out in that game. Like, he's like, you know what I mean?
It was fucking hot as fuck, though. You know what I mean? He hasn't replayed a full season.
Keefe, in the last round, would you rather take Reece James or Nkunku?
In the very last round?
Yes.
Obviously, Reece James. Because Reece James is going to the 10th. But I think in the last round, Nkunku could be kind of sneaky for a pick. As like a kind of a meme, kind of a funny thing. But like, same with like Garnacho. I did a mock draft today where I got Garnacho in the very last round. And I didn't draft a keeper. I was like, I'll get Garnacho, and if he goes somewhere where he's valuable, all of a sudden I have like a top, like a 5th round asset. And if not, I'll just drop and pick up a keeper. So I think in that same way, Nkunku's kind of interesting, you know, kind of like a lottery pick, like a true lottery pick.
That is a beautiful lottery pick. You should do that.
I will. Okay, next one, Crystal Palace. What do we have here? Do we believe in how they ended the season? They ended the season so strong. Obviously won the FA Cup, kept a ton of clean sheets at the end there. Do we think they're going to start like that?
I don't.
You think there's going to be trouble in Palace Paradise?
Yeah. I think that's their side. And then now they've been taken out. They're not in Europa anymore. They got put down to conference. I don't think there's going to be so much animosity in the team with Eze trying to leave. Also, like if Eze leaves, what else do they have besides Muñez? Nothing.
If
really.
Eze leaves, is he a better asset at Arsenal? Or is just being a talisman at Palace going to mean that he was going to be a better asset there?
He'd be better at Palace. You get more fantasy value out of him at Palace because he'll be the main man. Yeah, he'll be the main man.
If he is to go, who steps up? Because all of a sudden I feel like that's a pretty big void. Do you think it's just something where no one steps up?
If anyone steps up, it has to be freaking Ismaila Sarr, right? Because Matez is just going to play up front anyway, but Ismaila Sarr could probably be the one that steps up to fill that void, but it's a pretty big fucking boost to fill, man. So I don't think so.
I think Eze is interesting too. You know, names eerily similar to Eze. Maybe they're just hoping for the best there.
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay, what about Munez? Do you think he can repeat? I mean, I did this mock draft today. It's really hard to like swallow taking Munez in the second. I
wouldn't. Would you take him in the second?
I mean,
would you like that risk?
If I'm later in the second, maybe. But like,
what's the risk?
What'd you say?
Well, it's the risk of him actually doing it again. That's the risk. Like, is he going to be able to perform? He had such a great season last season, and he did it at Palace. But will he be able to replicate this?
He also had a great season the first year he came to Palace. Granted, it was middle of the year transfer, but he averaged 11 points, and he started every single game. That's 16 games. So it's not like it was just 1 year. To me, it's 2 years in a row. He's been producing. He might not have the goals, but the year before he didn't need to have the goals to produce 11.3 points.
It's not 2 years in a row. It's a year and a half in a row.
I mean, he was the 7th highest scoring player last year.
It's just not a sexy pick. Let's be honest, because you're not. I don't think you're going to get those like 30-point games, 40-point games, obviously, but you're going to get a lot of 10+ point games and a lot of consistency. Which one thing I have to say about fantasy, I know we don't prioritize defenders, but when you have a defender that you know you can just plug him in, you don't know, doesn't matter who they're playing, whether it's City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man U, you can just plug him and not worry about that. I think that's an amazing feeling.
I think
I hear you.
I don't know if Man U is in the same category as the other teams you just
Yeah,
listed,
I don't know
but-
why I said that.
I thought you guys were going to let me slide on that one. Damn it.
What I'm gonna say is, I'm curious. What players are in and around that mid to late second round?
I'll pull it up right now.
I'm
I
curious.
think
I'm not trying to say it's
Tico, I
wrong or
think
anything.
I think my thing is that I think in the first round and the second round, you want players that are going to absolutely be able to pop off any given Sunday, you know? And defenders just, even though they have that floor, they just don't have that ability to really pop as much as some of these attacking players. And I think that is maybe why it's a little less sexy.
No.
Yeah.
I get it. It is less sexy, but I'm just.
Do you think?
I don't think there's a risk. I think when he said taking the risk, I don't think taking him there's a risk.
Are you more inclined to take Muniz if your first pick is riskier? Like if you pick up like Wirtz, then would you be like, oh, Muniz gives me a better baseline if Wirtz just maybe isn't able to adjust as quickly? So I have this like really strong floor with my second pick.
It's possible, but I think I would just double down on the same position.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the other issue. The other issue you run into more is just a positional thing. Because then all of a sudden, I feel like you're spending the rest of the draft kind of catching up to getting elite midfielders and elite forwards if you draft a defender so early.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the concerns. Anything else Palace related before we move on?
They got a new defender from this Croatian guy, Borna Sosa. I think he's a center back. Do we care?
Looks like Sosa. Cool. What's that?
I just think of like just those like Croatian defenders, just big and stalking, are just gonna get a shitload of clearances.
Like a Milinkovic vibe from Palace, even though he's not Croatian.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, from
It's funny. The only defender I'm interested in is Chris Richards. Funny enough, in this team.
Yeah, I mean he's fun. He's a really good defender. He scored a few goals at the over the summer in the Gold Cup too. So.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I saw that header. That was a nice header.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Everton.
Some gems in here.
Yep.
Some gems for sure. I think McNeil ADP 16 now. We love him, but do we love him at that ADP?
Do.
You do?
But that's just me. Yeah, I like him.
You feel good taking him there?
I feel good taking him there. Just because I have a good understanding of what he will produce for me. And under Moyes, I think he can only be better.
I like him a lot. I also think like with Beto and then this new guy Barry that there's McNeil loves to drop a ball in on someone's head, so there's something there. I'd be a little. I think there's maybe some other guys I might take at 16 before I take McNeil, but he was the type of guy that I loved getting in like the third round and thinking that you were getting absolute steal. But I think now it's like words out.
It's known. Yeah.
Yeah. What about Tarkowski, 58 ADP, 54 now ADP, 55 ADP. What I think that's good value. That represents good value. I think some of these defenders in like the 4th, 5th round, I think that's there's a lot of value there.
Yeah. I agree. Tarkowski's a steal. He's like every season he does it. So that's pretty a no-brainer.
And doesn't score goals or get assists, maybe one a year. And it goes back similar with Munoz. Same thing. Plug him in. Don't worry about it. You know he's going to do what he does. He's going to produce. So he's another defender. Like when you think of it this way, I'd rather get Tarkowski in the 5th or 6th round than Munoz in the 2nd round.
I was going to say the same thing to you. The good thing about Munoz is that you're hoping for goals and assists, whereas Tarkowski you're banking on his ghost points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he gets clean sheets, it's a great added bonus.
Yeah, and you think Moyes is going to have this team closer to what they have in the season, than how it was before he got there. All right, and then I kind of like this little like Ndai Alcaraz, like Ndai going 69th, Alcaraz 83rd. I kind of like those guys, and I'm also really surprised Beto is dropping all the way to 99.6 to me because I think I talk about him. He was one of my guy picks, or not my guy, but like a deep sleeper pick that I liked, or a sleeper pick that I liked. But to Tico's point, I think Tico brought up Barry being signed, Thierno Barry, and I think that if you do get Beto, you really want to just handcuff that until there's some clarity there as to who's going to be the starter and what that's going to look like. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to draft Barry. I'm letting you guys know right now. I'm going Barry over Beto.
But you're not even going to bother trying to grab Beto just to be safe?
Sergey, did you hear that? Your brother's going to draft him, so draft him before him.
Buddy. I also love the TV show Beer.
Are we ready to move on to Fulham? Is there anything else we want to talk about here? Pickford, probably one of the best keepers
to pick up. Yeah, if you're going to pick up one.
I think 10th is too early, so we'll see what happens there.
You can pick up. I think you still pick up another goalkeeper around the 14th or 15th. Or just don't. So
kind of surprised about Minkolenko's ADP. It feels fairly high, 8.5, 85th. 85th ADP, 85.7.
I think that's just going from last season. But again, him and Tarkowski in that middle, they could just win headers, clearances, tackles one. They'll get their points.
All right, up next, Fulham. I think the biggest question for me, like, we know what Iwobi is, we know what he's capable of. Can Anthony Robinson repeat? Like, assists are notoriously hard to replicate because they require like someone else. Like you're just setting it up. Someone else has to knock it down for you. Mm-hmm. So,
when you're setting it up for Raul Jimenez, it's automatic.
Love it.
How was his ghost points? Like, do we know what his ghost points were?
Robinson?
Yeah, that could be key because I know he got a bunch of assists, but
they're quite good.
Is he like 8 points, 9 points?
I think higher. My computer is
that's really good.
Overheated right now with all these windows open, but let me sit back in.
And I thought you were doing Moneyball, and you had him on your team last year. Like, you should know this off the top of your head.
Yeah, I don't.
All right.
Okay, you guys are gonna love this. Points per start, 11.9. Ghost points per start, 12.2.
It's my guy.
Wait, what?
I don't understand how that's possible.
Hold on. Yeah, he didn't start one game.
It's my guy.
Points per start, 11.9.
He's doing Jedi mind tricks right now.
How can you have a higher ghost points per start than a points per start?
Because he's amazing.
His WAR is 1.78.
Let me see what he did the one game he didn't start.
No, these are both these are both per start. It's points per start, 11.9. Ghost points per start, 12.2. But I don't understand how you can have more ghost points per start than you can have.
Is the formula broken? Have we been lied to this whole time?
It's like this. He's just doing this. These aren't the points you're looking for.
With Obi-Wan Iwobi and Jedi Robinson, this is a very Star Wars heavy team.
Yeah, I do like it. I might have to drop both.
The WAR of 1.78 is pretty crazy too for Anthony Robinson to get him in potentially like that third round.
We don't think that Muniz is going to take over that forward start eventually this season.
He started last year and he couldn't break through.
Yeah, I think Jimenez is kind of locked in there, but I don't think what's Muniz being drafted right now? 148. Probably going to go undrafted. Probably not. He's probably going to be on waivers sooner rather than later, even if he does get drafted. So I'm not super stressed. I mean, if you get Jimenez and you really want to be safe and you have an extra spot late, it's not the end of the world to pick him up just to kind of cover your bases. But I don't foresee that being like him having a chance to start. I think it would take Raul Jimenez really not having a good start to the season for Muniz to get a chance. In which case, I think you'd see that coming and you could probably pick him up. Anything else Fulham related? Sessegnon officially is in mid now instead of a defender. I don't know what that means though. Like how many games was he really starting? He was starting into the end of the season, but how much of that was injury related?
Maybe, but you don't think he starts over like Traore?
Some games, yeah. But I'm not sure if he starts enough. I think when he had that defender classification, you had him on your roster because if he did start, it was like beautiful. A cheat code. But I'm not sure if he's going to be starting enough games as with a mid classification to make it worth it. But maybe I don't know. Leeds will skip. Liverpool. Oh boy.
Here we go.
Do you guys buy into that? Like the talk about Sloboslai being the odd one out with Wirtz coming in?
I've said it. And I got made to Tico made me feel like I was an idiot. I said it.
I don't know if I buy it. I think I'm still gonna play.
I buy it.
You buy it?
Yeah, if Luis Diaz stays, I buy it.
So you think they're gonna play Luis Diaz at the 9?
I think they play Luis Diaz at the 9. Yeah.
And they play Gakpo on the left, and they play Wirtz as the 10.
I don't know if I buy it. I think Gakpo probably becomes. I think Gakpo is the odd one out. I think
I
Sloboslai
don't
still
think that
plays.
goes
I think
Yeah.
Wirtz plays off the left.
Soboslai does a lot for that team.
Yeah, I
Okay.
kind of agree.
Soboslai
It could go either way, but I just think that Szoboszlai is the one who's going to lose game time.
So you're not drafting him. I mean, where's his ADP right now? Sloboslai is 57.6. I think that's starting to reflect a little bit, like that there's some fear, and I think at that price it's pretty good. Because where did you get him last year? You got him like the 3rd round.
Yeah. I got him
and
pretty early on.
I think you're
not
willing
third,
to.
I'm sorry, 5th round.
Oh, you got him 5th.
I got him in the 5th.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So that's not that bad then. But I
And
feel like
Gakpo?
Gakpo is going at 59.9 in this right now. ADP.
They're right next to each other. Who would you like? It's a toss up, I guess. But I think if I had the choice, I'd go Gakpo.
I go Sloboslai. I think Gakpo is way more upside, and obviously we saw he can like actually bang it when he's in. But I just think that with Wirtz and Diaz there, like give the team as it is right now, it's hard for me to not take Sloboslai there. What about you, Tico? Are you the same?
I did think Gakpo is going to have a better year, especially if he starts with obviously the tragic passing of Diego Jota. So I think for that I would take Gakpo, and also I shortened off Szoboszlai. I had him for 2 years in a row.
I forgot.
So I shortened him off. He got benched a little bit, and he was kind of inconsistent. So
if you're in the 5th round and it's literally Szoboszlai or Gakpo, you're gonna pick up Gakpo because
there's no one else available, just those two.
Only 2 players left in the draft
in the 5th round.
In the 5th round,
yeah, I'll go Cody. Yeah.
How are we feeling about Frimpong and Kirkes? Are you guys believers that they're going to be superstars and big hits for the team?
It's Arnie Slot's team, so he's bought these guys knowing what their capabilities are and what they do on those wings. Like, is he gonna go wing back? Is he gonna play 3 at the back, or is he gonna let them fly? That's what I'm thinking. If he bought them as they are, it's not like he came to this team they were already there. He bought these two, so he's got to have an attack-minded defense like wingers, wingbacks.
The one thing I would say is last year, with the exception of Trent, unless I'm not remembering correctly, the right back and left back did not produce a lot of points. Robertson had a disappointing season. Trent, Keefe, you had him. Maybe you could comment on this, how he was playing. But I feel like anyone else that started instead of Trent was not having those great years.
I think Trent was slightly underwhelming last year. He still ended up like okay, but the injury didn't help. But even when he did play, he just wasn't bombing down the wing like he did before. But I also think that might just have been like a little bit tactical. And like when you look at like what City's doing now and what Chelsea's doing now, a lot of it is getting their fullbacks involved in like different unique ways. And these purchases to me speak to Arne Slot wanting to get his fullbacks involved in new, unique ways. I don't know what they are. I don't know what that means exactly, but I kind of look at this like you don't buy Frimpong and Kirkes and to have them sit on the halfway line and defend, So
like you look at and honestly, you look at the 11 players that are lined up there. Every single one of them are going to get drafted.
I'm probably going to go with I'll take Frimpong over Kirkes.
Yeah,
only because he plays on the same side as Mo Salah.
Yeah, I think that the thing with Frimpong, I probably if I do go for him, I probably want to pick up Connor Bradley really late, just to be safe.
I don't think you can go wrong with any one of these players. Perfectly honest.
Yeah,
depending on where you draft them.
One thing I would keep an eye out, just real quick, Keefe Konate. I know he doesn't really have a lot of value, but he might be leaving in the summer.
Yeah, I saw that going to Real Madrid, huh?
Yeah.
How broken would it be if Rodrigo came in?
It'll be fucking. I don't know how that's gonna work. Then obviously Gakpo gets dropped. Obviously.
No, if he comes in, then probably Diaz is on his way out.
Diaz is on his way out. One of them's definitely on their way out.
Either Barcelona or Bayern Munich.
Yeah. But I think if Rodrigo comes to Liverpool, does Rodrigo immediately go into the first round? I think so.
Good question.
I think I'm drafting him over Eze all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I think I would.
What's the difference between? And I know they're different players. Don't get me wrong, I know they're different players. But another player coming in from outside, him and Gyökeres, and like, you think he goes ahead of Gyökeres?
Yeah, because when I look at the way that Gyökeres scored a lot of his goals last year, it was running in behind teams, out muscling defenders. And I don't think Arsenal is going to be in positions where he's going to be able to run in behind as much as he did in the Portuguese league. And I also don't think he's going to be able to he's going to bully defenders, but I don't think he's going to bully defenders as effectively in the Premier League as in the Portuguese league, where I think a lot of the skill sets that Rodrigo has are much more transferable. A and B, playing in a Liverpool team as opposed to an Arsenal team, I think it's just much more conducive to points,
Okay.
So that's why. Yeah, and then Frimpong owners Cuff Bradley. Moving on, Man City.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Another headache.
There's a lot of headaches this year. It feels like, actually, I got the wrong one.
It's right there, Keefe. Manchester City's right there.
I got it. My stuff's going slow. It's delayed. Hey. Manchester City. Marmoush to me is the conundrum of all conundrums. His ADP is 17.9, which, obviously his numbers were good last year, but in the second round, I'm just so nervous about getting someone that could absolutely not play that much. How do you guys feel?
It's scary, man. The guy
could
could be amazing, but
Uh-huh.
again, we don't know if he's going to play and how much he's going to play.
And he's very goal dependent also, man.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
He is. I think I'd rather take Phil Foden, whose ADP is at 29th. Again, with all the questions surrounding him over Marmoush at the second round.
So I'm just so worried about drafting Foden in the third round. I know it's the end of the third round, but just is he going to have a season like 2 years ago? Or is he going to He's going to have the same thing that happened last year?
I think for me, when you look at Foden, you know that he Pep trusts him enough to play him for 30, 25 plus games in a season, and B, he's been capable of doing it in the past. And I think last year was a weird year coming off the Euros. I think he was really sick and he didn't really get better for a long time. So I project Foden to do better. I think Marmoush is a wild card. So we have Marmoush at 22 in our aggregate rankings. I have him at 25. Enzo, you have him at 16, and Tigo, you have him at 22. So
I think I'm going to change mine because after really looking at it, he is very goal dependent. So I was a very big fan of that. But it's just that rotation issue at Man City. You look at all their players, the only one I see there is Erling Haaland, who you feel would be the only one to start.
That's
week in, week out.
Rodri
too.
Yeah.
Gvardiol. I don't know. Do you have to be a sick person to go back to back Haaland and Marmoush?
It would be kind of funny to be that person, though. It would be a very boom or bust. Okay, so I also want to talk about Savio, Jeremy Doku. Obviously, it's the headache of the century. It's interesting because when I wrote these notes, their ADP was much further apart. So even in the last day, their ADP has shrunk closer together. But
really?
To me, I think that the value with them lies in whoever's getting drafted later. So I don't really see that much difference between them. I think Savio had a run in the middle of the season where he was starting a lot more games than Doku, but by the end of last season, Jeremy Doku was starting more games, and then in the Club World Cup, Jeremy Doku played pretty darn well.
Can I give you guys some advice or pointer on the draft as the defending champion?
Fuck,
it took him. You know what? I'll give it to him. It took him an hour to mention that. Go on.
Let's say if you're in the fourth round and you have the back-to-back, and both of them are available, Savio and Doku, go back-to-back Savio and Doku.
You never experienced that, but you're just saying you think it's worth it?
I haven't experienced it, but if I'm in that position where I could go back-to-back, or even let's say if you're ninth, so there's one in between, if both of them are available, I'm taking both of them.
You're a sick individual.
Yeah, I think
one of them is
for doing that,
and then I'll have Haaland in the first round. So imagine going first for Haaland, Marmoush, Savio, and Doku. There's a world that's possible.
Oh, that's so nasty. And honestly, no, I won't do it. Sorry, no.
But if all of them start, that's 80 points between those four. So just real quick, why Savio and Doku? The thought process behind it. One of them is guaranteed to start, and when they start, they produce usually around 15 points, give or take. You're guaranteed that at any moment. And also imagine on weeks where both of them start, which has happened. Now, if I remember correctly, when both of them start, both of them don't have this amazing numbers. But again, it was Savio's first year. It's going to be Doku's third. That is something that I would do. And that's something as a defending champion, look banner, I would highly recommend.
You know the good thing is about doing this on my phone? I can't fucking see that shit. It's fucking beautiful.
Tico, I think that's interesting. I think there are going to be games where this happened a lot last year. There were games where neither of them started though too.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're like in a tough spot.
Pickle. You're in a fucking pickle.
But I get what you're saying. Do you think Ryan Shirky is representing value where he's going at 55? Because I think that sounds all of a sudden interesting to me. You're telling me
sound like a trap?
He doesn't sound like a trap at 55. If he was going in the 30s, I think it'd be a trap. But for some reason, the expectations were really tempered, and especially when like you saw where Savio was going last year. I got Savio in like the 13th round last year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and the value he returned, and so I look at Shirky and could think that potentially to have that type of return from a guy going in the 6th round is interesting.
Well, and their midfield clusterfuck. When you look at the ADP, I think Bernardo Silva has value as well. He's going at 92nd.
Wow.
Yeah, but the upside's so capped. I think with Shirky, that upside is like really enticing.
Yeah, much higher.
Bernardo Silva is just not like sexy.
Yeah, but if you go back-to-back Savio Doku, you could
after getting Holland in the first, I think if Savio
after
Doku,
I have Haaland and Marmoush, Savio, I'm just drafting Man City.
I think we all agree Gvardiol's a trap at 66. Yeah. I think that I'm a little nervous about that one. But on the flip side, I think at Nori and Nunez are both very exciting. I think Nunez, especially where he's going in drafts, which is 137, represents huge potential.
Mm-hmm. Do we have any value on Oscar Bob?
I knew you were gonna fucking say that. As soon as I saw his name,
Oscar Bob. I want Oscar Bob.
Me
to succeed.
too, but no.
I also think with De Bruyne gone, and I mean Silva, is Gundogan still there? He's still on the team, I guess so.
I think he has one leg out.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva's I think Bernardo Silva is not going to get that much playing time. I could see Oscar Bob, a healthy Oscar Bob, getting playing time because remember he was looking good before that injury last year.
Yeah, he was.
Reinders, interesting to me. What do you guys think? He scored like 10 goals for Milan last year. Solid amount for what he does.
Depends on where he gets played in that midfield.
Good dribble numbers. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Where is he going in draft? 75.4. I think there's something there.
There's something there. Are you going to draft John Stones again this year, Keefe?
I think I'm all stoned out.
Are you all?
I think there's just no more juice left in that tank.
All right, let's moving on to the next. This is a trap team, not even trap players, trap team.
I think the upside with Manchester United is they can't get any worse, right?
We said that. We said that last year too. They can't do worse than 15.
Can't get worse than 15, right, Tico?
We're a finalist.
Yes, finalists. Yes.
Okay. Diallo is a big question mark to me, depending on how he fits in the team. I think we'll get a better sense in preseason, and we'll get a better sense if and when Emblemo gets there. But his ADP is alarming to me for like how much unknown there is.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing they have 3 players in the top 20, and then their next best player isn't till 144 in ADP.
Harry Maguire disrespect.
I kind of agree. I think that is some Harry Maguire disrespect. For sure.
Where's his ADP?
153.
Man, that's a little bit disrespectful. I'll give him that, Mr. Fucking Slaphead. He'll get you a bunch of headers.
In the non-goal. If Garnacho isn't moved by the time we draft, would you guys draft him in the hopes he goes to Premier League team?
Yeah, so I did that today in a mock where I drafted him literally in the last round, and I think I said this. I was like, well, if he doesn't go to a Premier League team, it's like no sweat off my back. I drop him, and then I pick up a keeper. And if he does, then I drop someone else. And all of a sudden, I have a guy who if you're telling me Garnacho's at like Chelsea or at I don't know where else he's even rumored to go, like West Ham even or something, somewhere random even, like I would be like, cool, that's like a 5th round pick.
What about Brentford?
Yeah, I don't think you'd ever go to Brentford for wage reasons, but yeah, totally. Like,
he's only
I think that would be like a fit. You'd be
We
all of a
talk
sudden
about
you'd have a ton of value.
he's only on 50 bags. He ain't earning that much.
Really? Okay.
I mean, if they loan him out, Manchester United loves paying salary for players they don't have.
Yeah,
That's true.
Garnacho doesn't get paid much. He's actually one of the cheaper players.
Yeah. Enzo, I think you left this note. Mount a sneaky Laudio pick, or did I might have said that. I kind of think that's funny. I think that's kind of interesting. Like really sneaky Mason Mount late round. But again, like just you're gonna drop him if he doesn't start,
Yeah, what would I pick up? What was his ADP?
It's like 190. It's like not even drafted.
Okay, yeah, it's not even, yeah.
So a few players that are not ranked that I think might have some value for United: Luke Shaw and Kobe Mainoo.
Kobe Mainoo, I agree with you, but Luke Shaw, no.
To me, he's very similar to Reece James, where if he's healthy, he has value.
There's too many question marks, mate.
It's literally one question mark.
I think my issue, Pico, is about the fact that he didn't seem to really have the trust of Amarim last year. Like he played some games, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that like there was an injury crisis going on,
and there was no fucking choice other than
him. I don't get the sense that he's first choice there anymore, or not right now.
He's a reluctant second choice. That's what he is.
Anything else? Anything else, United?
No, but Kyle, you just do your job and just draft all of them.
Newcastle.
I went cool. Yeah.
All right. What do you think here? How will Europe affect Newcastle? That was absolutely rough on them last year.
Yeah. There's some really good players in here, perfectly honest. Some really good fantasy players. Harvey Barnes. I think Livramento could have a big year. Trippier going that late could be some value.
I think Trippier late is value. I think both Jacob Murphy and Harvey Barnes. Like Harvey Barnes is where his ADP is actually feels better to me, but like Jacob Murphy in the 6th or 7th round still feels a little wishy-washy to me, especially with Alenga there now.
Yeah, I still feel I'd take him in the 6th or 7th round though, with the upside that he might just start off the season and then try to sell high. Once Alenga starts gaining the groove, maybe. That's the only thing I could think of with Murphy. I like Murphy. I'm a big fan. So, but Elanga's there now, so that can only tell you one thing.
I dislike him for that reason because Enzo's a big fan.
Lovely.
Yeah, no, I know Enzo was high on him. He was saying like 2nd round he's going to draft him in the last year.
Do you remember that last year?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess
like, I do. No, to me, Murphy Elanga has more value. Honestly, I'll rather take Bruno over Jacob Murphy.
Really?
I think the Bruno, obviously from 2 years ago when everyone else was hurt and he had this amazing year, but he's not going to replicate that. But he's someone else, he's going to play every game. He's going to play 90 minutes and just plug and play.
I think Newcastle United defenders are an interesting play too. I think they're a little bit undervalued. You look at like Dan Burn, you look at Lewis Hall, who I really like, 6th round. Okay. But Dan Burn, Fabian Schär as another one. He tends to come up with a lot of goals. Fabian Schär, where's he going? Like,
and Botman's back too, isn't
51. He? Yeah, and then I think Enzo shout out Trippier. I just think there's going to be some value there if you can find it. You might need to do some digging though, or you might need to be patient.
Nick Pope too. He's always one of the top fantasy goalkeepers.
Yep. That's if he keeps his starting lineup. That's if he keeps his role.
Yeah. What, rumors of Trafford going or something? That's what you're talking about? You're hinting at, Enzo?
Correct.
All right, next up, Nottingham Forest.
Uh-oh, shit show.
Shit show. Load thing.
It's going to get there. It is.
All right, so Morgan White probably will not be on the team. And then you're looking at Chris Wood, Kyle Hudson-Odoi. They're going to have Europe. They're not going to have their talisman attacking player. I will say though that does leave a void, and I really like Elliot Anderson because when Gibbs White was out, Elliot Anderson tended to play in that role and looked pretty solid. So I think he represents value, especially going at 89.1. Like, I think
he's a star week in, week out.
Value. Yeah, I think that only changes. There's some rumors that they might be in for McAtee, who I really like for the city guy.
Man City.
So that would obviously change that, and then I think McAtee probably falls into the 5th, 6th round when that happens. I'll be guessing. But yeah, I think go ahead, Enzo.
I was going to say, I think Olo Aina is good value too. He's coming back from injury. He had a great start to the season, he was a key component for Nottingham Forest in that defensive line. I think Oliano would be a good value pick.
And then you're seeing some of these guys like this Brazilian Igor Jesus de Cruz, who played at Botafogo. He's going to be on the team now.
Yeah, didn't they buy a bunch of Brazilian players?
Yeah, there's another one they bought
bunch?
too. I'm not sure if he's showing up on here yet, but there's a few other players they bought. They have a good track record out of Brazil too. I think Danilo, Murillo. So yeah, I will say that I just without Morgan Gibbs White and Alanga, this team does feel kind of gutted.
And it's a little bit worrying that Chris Wood is their highest ADP player.
Yeah, it's
so
just 2.1. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, Nunez has shown that he's a really good coach, and there might be some really interesting waiver opportunities with this team. I'm not sure if it's draft opportunities.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Okay, next one. Let's power through. Or do you have something? You have something to go?
Yeah, let's power through.
Just something very irrelevant. Igor Jesus. I just googled him because I hadn't heard of him before. But his celebration is Dragon Ball Z, and he just does. Which that's all it takes for me to be sold on a player.
So you're all in.
Yeah, I don't even like Dragon Ball Z, but
so wait, did you like Almiron when he was on freaking Newcastle too? Because he did the fusion fucking celebration.
I don't know what fusion celebration means. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan, but just this looks cool.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Tottenham Hotspur.
Europa champions.
Europa champions. Tottenham Hotspur are officially a draft headache, especially because Frank tends to play trusted players. So if you draft wrong and you pick the guy who isn't one of his favorites, it could be catastrophic. I think the interesting things here are Son. I feel like everyone's fading on Son. He's dropping down because I don't think anyone has any faith in him either staying or what the situation is. But Kudus is rising. Kudus is now at 36 ADP, which is quite high. And then you have Solanke almost the exact same as well. Wow, they're going like back to back.
It's kind of crazy they have no one ranked in the top 20, 30 for the ADP.
Well, I think the issue. What are you saying, Enzo?
I said only just going by like the performance of last season.
Kind of, but I also think the issue is that there's a lot of uncertainty as to who's going to play where. Like if you were guaranteed Kulusevski playing and like starting, I think that his ADP goes up. I think I think it's just there's so much like who's going to play where, who's going to do what. I am really shocked at how high Pedro Porro's ADP is, 41.4, considering his ghost points, considering his just overall play last season. I kind of have him a little lower personally.
Do you think it's because you think he was an Ange player and Ange had him playing like ridiculously high?
I think that's the argument against him for sure. But
Keefe, to kind of piggyback off what you said of the players starting, if you draft Tottenham players and you get lucky, let's say Maddison, who's going at 48, if you get him like in the end of third or early fourth and he becomes a regular starter, he's going to put up top 2 round value. Same thing with Kulusevski. Yes. So it's one of those things where like you're shooting darts, but if you hit one by accident, just because the new manager likes him, I think this could be like very enticing players here.
I think without a doubt, there's going to be a Tottenham player in the top 25 at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of could you get it right? Do you get it right?
Would you guys rather gamble on Matters or Savi or Doku?
Savi or Doku for me. Because you know that you're getting what you're getting. Matters. I don't know what I'm getting right now.
I'm growing and growing more because I would have said Doku and Savio just a week ago, but the more I saw, because I look at Tottenham all the time, obviously they could play a 4-1-2-3 essentially with MGW and Madison in that double 10 role and have I think we just need to get a defensive midfielder. And it could be very interesting.
Essentially, it's just a 4-3-3. Like you're making it complicated by calling it a 4-1-2-3, but it's just a 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder, right? And then
you can call it whatever you want, man.
Matters and MBGW just play the eights. Is that essentially what it is? That's like what you're thinking, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah. That could be juicy. Still in the market for a center back and a defensive mid, but I don't know how relevant those will be for fantasy. Maybe the center back.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we'll see. I think a lot of players drop off here. I don't think Brent Johnson.
Yeah, I'm pretty low on Johnson and Tell personally.
Yeah,
Spence might have good value.
I agree. I think Spence has really good value, especially where he's going. I think that I think it's just that same question though. Is it going to be Spencer? Is it going to be Destiny Doggy? And I think that is it's like the same issues with this whole team is you just don't know who's going to do what. I guess as we see some preseason games, we'll have some clarity, but it's hard to even know. Because I even remember last year, like with Ange, or was that 2 years ago? It was Pedro Porro and Emerson Royale were the two right backs, and I drafted Emerson Royale like really late, being like, well, maybe if it's not Porro, it'll be Emerson Royale. If he scored in his very first game, then he started the very first game and scored in it, and then he just got benched and didn't play again. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to know.
Yeah.
All right, West Ham, Jared Bowen, gotta love him. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think, is like a sneaky good pick. He had a really good season last year, and is just a really, really solid defender. And he also contributes on both sides. So he has really strong defensive numbers, and he also has some attacking value as well. I kind of like James Ward-Prowse because I think by the end of last season, Potter realized that he was a pretty good player, and he'd kind of brought him back from the wilderness and started playing him. And I think if he doesn't need to deliver that much value to be worth it at like 120, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just don't draft from the 4th round like I did.
Yes, definitely don't do that. And then Sergey brought up a good point that I thought was interesting. Crescencio Somerville, injured last year, so we didn't really get to see his full potential. But I think the idea with Kudus leaving, that that might be a spot opened up for him, and that 14th pick, that feels pretty good, right?
It could be. He is very explosive, and he didn't really get that much of a chance last season. I don't think anybody of their new players got a chance last season, so we'll see.
Anyone else you guys want to talk about on this team? It's not the most exciting. Fulkrug, very underwhelming last year. I don't know if anyone really is going to trust.
No, I don't really care much for the rest of their players. It's literally just Bowen and Wan-Bissaka who really, wet your whistle. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on then. Wolverhampton, are they going to get relegated?
They'll be in a relegation battle, we think.
Oh, man, I think it could be an interesting year for relegation. It's not a good sign when your top player is 69.5 on ADP, Jorgen Strand Larsen. He's also not going to have Cunha feeding him. So I think that's a little alarming. I think the whole team downgrades without Cunha. I think the two players that have the potential to kind of fill somewhat of the void, or this is
Bellegarde,
and then what, Mosquera? Oh no, sorry, Muntesi, right? That's the other one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think Bellegarde and Muntesi might be the two that kind of step in to fill that role a little bit.
Yeah.
For Lopez, exciting young talent. I think he's a little too young in my mind to like really bank on, but I think in the 14th round, maybe,
We could see there's a couple players you might find some value in, like Totti is another one that you can get some late value in, I feel. But yeah, like it's not that it's scarce.
It's so scarce. I think the one thing that you need to remember is Bruno Lage had them, or no, who was it? Who's their coach? But I forget whoever their coach was. I think had them really strong defensively by the end of the year. So I think to Enzo, to your point, I think there might be some value there. I think they're going to go into this year being like, we're going to make it really hard for you to score on us and try and make some wins.
Yeah.
They are also signing a new right back. Fabrizio set the thing up. No idea who it is. It's a young person. But one thing I would say, maybe Jose Sa, their goalkeeper, might be the goalkeeper that's the busiest, and he gets a lot of saves. He has historically produced fantasy the last 3-4 years. So that's one goalkeeper. Could be good.
Very good point. Very good point. Okay. The promoted sides, I think we can just talk briefly about all of them. Burnley, Edwards was going like 130 as of yesterday. Trafford 132. Brownhill 138. I think Brownhill is kind of interesting. I think he put in 18 goals in the championship last year. So something there.
What did he do 2 years ago?
Let's look. So it was pretty solid, right? He was
solid 2 years ago, but did he get those goals?
I don't think he had 18. I think that's for sure.
No, but did he get? But even if he only got like 6 or 7, that's still some value.
Stats. Man, this thing is operating at Windows 98 speeds right now.
You need to do a virus check, man.
Games played, goals for, assists too. Not the worst.
Not bad.
Not the worst at all.
Not the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he's interesting. I think it's a matter of if he's going to play and stuff. Okay, Leeds. You know who I would be really interested in on Leeds if he wasn't on loan going back to Tottenham was Manor Solomon. I looked at his numbers from last year and he was like quite good for Leeds. And when I watched the playoff games, I thought he was like the best player on the pitch, like the most ready for the Premier League player. You know?
I like Manor Solomon. I liked him when he was playing for Tottenham. He just didn't work out for him. He does a lot. He dribbles hard, puts his head down. He can get past players. He's got that low center of gravity because he's so bloody small. But I think that might have been his downfall, was that he just got hustled out.
If he goes on loan to one of the relegation teams, like goes back to Leeds or goes to Sunderland or goes to Burnley, I would back Manor Solomon to be an asset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be. I love where
Perot goes 122, Noto 131, Dan James 136. Crazy, Dan James is still only like still a young man, you know, still not that old.
Another ex-Tottenham player. We bought him and then got rid of him.
Mm-hmm. I thought United did that.
Oh wait, I'm thinking of someone else. Sorry, I think of someone else.
Okay, yeah. What were you gonna say, Tico? Nothing. All right, Sunderland. I think this is the interesting one. And Dingra, ADP 61, talisman player. I don't know about that draft order, but I'm somewhat interested.
Somewhat. You're not going to complain if you get him in like really late on, are you?
Yeah, I think if you got him in the 7th, even maybe the 6th, but I think the 6th are some guys that I kind of have a little more faith in on teams that I think are going to be stronger than Sunderland.
I'm going to try to stay away from all the newly promoted teams.
I know. I keep going back and forth, but the last 2 years it was so obvious, right? The last 2 years it was so like you did not want any of them. Is this year really going to be different?
I don't know.
I feel like I didn't have that mock draft I did. I feel like there were more promoted players than I would have thought there were being drafted. Obviously later rounds, but like even and starting in like the 7th, even some guys started to go, and it just feels like why risk it?
I feel like there was a player from 2 years ago when Ipswich was in the league that had some value. Can't remember who it was.
Ipswich was last year, wasn't it? Right there. Do you mean Luton, maybe?
Luton.
Yeah,
was it the wing back?
Striker,
I think.
The striker, yeah, or like, yeah, I don't know, man. Or like, what about that? They had that left back that hit balls in too. That had like a mullet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but
it's just too risky in my opinion.
Just pick
to draft that early.
I mean, push comes to shove. We have Fab. Just put 50 Fab on a player you like. You'll be good.
Yeah, just throw your Fab. Splash that Fab. Let's go out of business. You can't take it with you. That's the thing about Fab.
Yeah, Enzo, how's your fucking 50 Fab?
Yeah, how much Fab did you have at the end of the season, Enzo?
I don't think I had that much left. I'd used it.
But you were using it like
putting like 30 Fab on a player when no one has said more than like 15 Fab.
Because I had too much Fab. What do you want me to fucking do, Tico?
That's how there's NBA players that go broke.
At least my players actually put up points, the ones I bought. Unlike someone we know that spent 50 Fab on someone.
Wait, why am I catching strays? We were talking to Tico.
I thought it was about me. I was putting it at the banner.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're done with this, and I think that's the whole episode because it's been a really freaking long one. This has been episode 97 of Draft Offsides. My name's Keefe. I'm with Tico and Enzo. Follow us at Draft Offsides everywhere. Mm-hmm. Follow us on YouTube. Yep. Check out our shorts. We have a little Sergey split up our shorts by each of our like sleepers and do not drafts. And as of now, I think I'm winning that little competition as to who's get more value.
You're definitely winning.
I'm definitely winning.
You're definitely winning. Yeah,
so you knew winning. You were aware. You've been checking it.
I've checked it. You've got like 200 and something, and I don't think me and Tico even broke 150.
Speak for yourself.
Sucks to suck, guys.
So I don't know if you guys saw he loaded 3 more. So from yesterday's, it's Keefe, and then I have 232, Enzo's last place.
Oh yeah.
And today's I have 122, and then Enzo 55, Keefe 44.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. Interesting.
Nice.
Well, I think I have the most combined views.
Okay.
I think so.
Maybe not. Maybe Tico might have the most combined views. But well.